During his campaign and tumultuous first year in office, President Donald Trump demonstrated little knowledge of policy details. He was not interested in advice that conflicted with his instincts, and it was often impossible for White House staff to figure out what course he wanted to take. One compared it to trying to figure out what a child wants. The portrait that emerges in the new book, Fire and Fury, by Michael Wolff, which became the talk of the town in Washington on Wednesday, is hardly a flattering one. Trump is depicted as presiding over a chaotic White House, struggling to settle into his new reality and eagerly trying to maintain his normal golf habits. In the book, set to be officially released next week, Wolff writes that Trump became upset that he couldn't give a Supreme Court seat to a friend rather than someone he didn't know. He casts Trump as having little or no interest in Republican attempts to overhaul the Affordable Care Act. And Wolff says aides were incredulous over Trump's claims that President Barack Obama had wiretapped Trump Tower during the 2016 campaign. Trump aides vigorously sought to undermine the book on Wednesday, with White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders saying in a statement that it is filled with false and misleading accounts from individuals who have no access or influence with the White House. Wolff says that his book is based on 200 conversations over the past 18 months with Trump, most members of his senior staff, some of whom he talked to dozens of times, and many people with whom they had spoken. Some conversations were on the record, while others were off the record or on deep background, allowing him to relay a disembodied description of events provided by an unnamed witness to them. At a White House briefing Wednesday afternoon, Sanders said Trump only had one brief conversation with Wolff and that most dialogue with White House staff was coordinated by one person, former chief strategist Steve Bannon, whom Trump dismissed in an unusually harsh statement, saying he has nothing to do with me or my presidency. Comments attributed to Bannon in the book drew the most attention Wednesday, including a suggestion that a meeting during the campaign between Donald Trump Jr. and a Russian lawyer was treasonous. But there is plenty else for the White House not to like about the book by Wolff, a longtime journalist who has written for Vanity Fair, The Guardian, The Hollywood Reporter, and other publications. During the campaign, which few aides expected Trump to win, and transition that followed, Wolff writes about several instances in which Trump's lack of knowledge and interest in public affairs was evident. Early in the campaign, for instance, Trump aide Sam Nunberg was sent to explain the Constitution to the candidate. Wolff writes, and Nunberg offered this assessment of the experience: I got as far as the Fourth Amendment before his finger is pulling down on his lip and his eyes are rolling back in his head. Wolff reports that in early August 2016, Trump asked former Fox News chairman Roger Ailes to take over management of the campaign.